Have you ever looked up at the night sky and wondered if there's more out there? If life as we know it is only one of its kind in the vast expanse of the cosmos? Well, today let's talk about the Anunnaki beings. Described as gods. But what if these so-called gods were actually extraterrestrials? What if the origins of humanity were shaped by visitors from another world? They were the first civilization in Mesopotamia. Between the Tigris and Euphrates rivers, present-day Iraq, around 4000 BCE, they were pioneers in many areas. They invented the wheel, created the first known form of writing, cuneiform, built complex cities, legal systems, and irrigation networks. The Sumerians claimed that the Anunnaki created modern humans specifically to serve them in their gold mines. Gold was a precious metal to the Anunnaki, and they needed lots of it to fix the atmosphere of their dying planet. Wait, what? Did they come from outer space? They also left behind thousands of clay tablets filled with stories, laws, and myths. They mixed their own DNA with that of the primitive humans and created a new race of humans, and more capable than the ones that lived there. They also gave them the ability to speak, write, and use tools, and then they set them to work in their gold mines. Yeah, it's a crazy story, but hear me out. They were one of the most advanced civilizations of their time. They believe that when the climate changed, the Anunnaki retreated to underground shelters, where they lived until today. Others believe that they simply evolved into different forms of life. Whatever happened to them, there is no doubt that they played a major role in shaping the course of human history. This theory is based on the work of author Zecharia Sitchin, who claimed that the Anunnaki were actually aliens. He believed that they came from a planet called Nibiru, and that they had a base on the moon. But one thing is certain. The Sumerians weren't stupid, and they wouldn't have believed in something that wasn't true. So whatever the case, the Anunnaki will continue to fascinate us for years to come. This theory is a bit controversial, to say the least, but it's still taken seriously by some people. After all, it's not impossible that there are aliens out there who have visited Earth. In fact, scientists believe that it's highly likely that there are aliens out there. But they haven't visited Earth yet. Probably because they don't want to cause any trouble or worse, be abducted by Area 51. They had developed a system of writing that allowed them to keep detailed records of their history. They also had a complex understanding of the universe. They knew that the Earth was round, and they even had a rough idea of how far away the sun and moon were from the Earth. The first theory is that they were gods who came from the sky. This is the most widely accepted theory, at least outside of conspiracy circles. Proponents of this theory believe that the Anunnaki were supernatural beings, who had powers beyond our understanding. They believe that the Anunnaki created humans as their servants, and then abandoned them, or maybe they will come back one day to collect them. This theory is based on the fact that the Sumerians were a very religious people. They believed that the gods controlled everything that happened in the universe, and that they were responsible for the creation of humans. Given their advanced understanding of the universe, it seems unlikely that they would have believed in a bunch of silly myths about gods who came from the sky. This planet has a highly elliptical orbit that brings it close to Earth only every 3,600 years. This theory is based on the belief that time travel is possible and that humans from the future have visited the past. Proponents of this theory believe that the Anunnaki were humans from the future, who had advanced technology that the ancient humans didn't understand. They believe that the Anunnaki may have been trying to warn humans about something, or maybe they were just curious about the past. Time travel is a hot topic nowadays, and scientists are getting closer to figuring out how it works. So this theory is definitely a possibility. One possible explanation is that the Anunnaki were so advanced that the Sumerians couldn't understand their technology. Similar stories have been found in other ancient cultures all over the world, from Egypt to Mesoamerica. All of these cultures had stories about gods who came from the sky, gave humans knowledge, and then went away again. Some conspiracy theorists believe that these stories are all referring to the same event, the arrival of the Anunnaki on Earth. If that's true, then it means that these beings weren't just a figment of the Sumerians' imagination. They really did visit Earth. To them, it must have looked like magic. Another explanation is that the Anunnaki deliberately misled the Sumerians. This means that the Sumerians and other ancient cultures didn't get their stories from each other. They must have all come to the same conclusions independently. They could have told them that they were gods in order to gain their trust and control them, and they weren't shy about showing it in their art and stories. According to ancient astronaut theorists, the Anunnaki didn't just come to Earth for fun. They were on a mission to save their dying planet. You see, Nibiru, their home planet, was dying. Its atmosphere was becoming toxic, and its surface was becoming uninhabitable. So they sent out a fleet of ships to search for a new home. When they arrived on Earth, they found that it was just right. There was plenty of gold, water, and other resources that they needed to survive. So they decided to stay. In one story, the goddess Nia tells her son, Ningishita, to bring her gold from the mountains. The Anunnaki clearly had a thing for this shiny metal. But why? Was it just because they liked the way it looked? Or was there something more to it? What if they needed gold for something else? Like, I don't know, fixing their planet's atmosphere or something. According to some theories, Nibiru is located in the Kuiper Belt. Some conspiracy theorists even believe that Nibiru is home to a group of advanced reptilian humanoids known as the Reptoids. They are supposed to be shapeshifters who can disguise themselves as humans and have infiltrated human society. But don't worry, they won't attack us, I think. But what truly captures the imagination are the stories of the Anunnaki. In this video, we'll dive deep into one of the most mysterious chapters in ancient history. We'll explore the Anunnaki, the Sumerians, and the theories connecting them to aliens from the stars. But before we start, remember to hit that like button and subscribe for more amazing videos. The Sumerians. pioneers of an ancient world. To understand the Anunnaki, we first have to travel back in time to meet the Sumerians. According to Sumerian texts, the Anunnaki were a group of deities who descended from the heavens to earth. Their name roughly means those who came from the heavens, or descendants of Anu. The Anunnaki were not just any ordinary deities. They were believed to be the creators of humankind, and the reason for their creation is quite interesting. It is said that the Anunnaki found early humans, probably Homo erectus, to be too primitive and lacking, so they decided to help them out. Yes, you heard it right. The Anunnaki are believed to have altered early humans to make them smarter and more capable. But why? Why would these all-powerful deities bother to mess with human evolution? Here's where things get even weirder. The Sumerian texts describe the Anunnaki as having come from a planet called Nibiru. Anyway, let's go back to the Sumerians. These guys were pretty obsessed with gold. The Anunnaki's interest in gold is one of the many clues that have led people to believe that they were aliens who came from another planet. But the problem was that the humans that lived there were too primitive for them. So they decided to do a little bit of genetic engineering. If the Anunnaki really did come from outer space, why would the Sumerians have believed that they were gods? But wait, there's more. The Sumerians weren't the only ones who had stories about the Anunnaki. What's even more interesting is that these stories were not written down until thousands of years after the Anunnaki are believed to have visited Earth. Some people believe that the Anunnaki may have actually been human-like creatures that lived in Antarctica. Theories about the Anunnaki. There are three main theories about who or what the Anunnaki were. The second theory is that the Anunnaki were extraterrestrials who came from a planet called Nibiru. The third theory is that the Anunnaki were humans who came from the future. The truth is, we may never know for sure what the Anunnaki really were. Do you believe in aliens? Let me know in the comments below. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next video.